Hello, hello, hello. Assalamu alaikum. Ji ayanu pakhair ragale. Ni hao, chune shumme, washmale, ohaya gozaimas, guten morgen, hola, bonjour, privyet, kaifa hal, and a very amazing khush amadi to everybody who is tuned into PT World and are watching World this morning alongside the very pretty Shabano Shazad and Mariam Shazad. Hello, Shabano. How are you today? Hello, Mariam. How are you?
I'm doing good. I hope you guys are doing very well and you're ready to start your day with us. My daughter is sitting here with us. We have a wonderful show lined up for you guys. We have wonderful mothers sitting with us with their kids. It's going to be, you know, a train ride. I think it's going to be a lot of fun today. So I'm going to have a lot of fun. This is what's happening in our studio right now. Let's see what's going on around the globe. So first, the top stories.
Well, let's take a look.
Attorneys and prosecutors Journal of ECO at a meeting in Islamabad agreed to establish a judicial cooperation mechanism.
A new Urdu book on China with the English title The Gleaming Gems of Chinese Culture was launched at Institute of Strategic Studies, Islamabad.
A 2,400 years old burial site containing the remains of a dozen ancient settlers of Mexico's basin from the pre-classic period was discovered to the south of Mexico City.
Researchers in South Korea have showed off their people-carrying robot designed for rescue missions or helping people with disabilities. That's cool. A better world.
New technology that lets musicians control sound using motion was center stage at the National Association of Music Merchants annual trade show in Anaheim in California.
And moving on towards weather, where cloudy weather is expected in upper parts of the country, including Quetta Division. However, rain, thunderstorm with snowfall over the hills is expected at isolated places in Malakand, Hazara, Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan. All right, ladies and gentlemen, these were the top stories. And for today, I think I'll let Mariam do what she can do the best as well. So, Mariam, what are we talking about today?
Today we'll be talking about motherhood, how it feels to be a mom, what the pressures you go through, the peer pressures, how the working moms deal with their work life and home life and family life. It's all about moms today, not about fathers, which Shazad, you can pitch in, that's all right. So talking about moms...
Well, certainly I cannot pitch in because I'm not a mother, you know, so I cannot actually relate to all of those peer
pressures. But I am a mother
pressures.
and you've seen me how I'm growing, so you can pitch in your ideas and you can ask moms how they feel. Na?
Well, I think that you've certainly grown up now, but as a matter of fact, I think, ladies and gentlemen, that I let Mariam handle because all of these mothers over here with these beautiful kids in the studios will let us know and share their experiences of being a mother. Wait, do you want to say something? No, okay, she does not want to say anything, ladies and gentlemen. But as a matter of fact, once again, you know, I think
I'll let Mariam talk. So as we were talking about mothers, so I'll share my experience of being a mom. It's not an easy job. It's hard work. You know, you have to put in a lot of effort into someone. You have to groom her. You have to shape her personality. So you have to give in a lot. And sometimes you don't even want to, you know, put in that much of effort. And even if there's so many sacrifices in making a person this big. So I think it was a lot of hard work, Shazad, and I think I've done a pretty good job. And all the mothers sitting here with me, they have such wonderful kids, and I'll be talking to them about how they feel as a mother, how their work life has affected their home life, or how it feels like living abroad alone, and how it feels like, you know, raising a child on their own.
Well, thank you very much for saying all of this, Mariam, and it only gives me an idea that actually I need to do a show with all the fathers too as well. So for all those people who are out there and for all of those, you know, ladies who are within the studios and their husbands, actually I think I'm going to call upon them too as well in days to come. But on my right hand side, ladies and gentlemen, we have been joined by Barrister Kiran Niaz Rathore and her daughter Aleha Sajid. Hello, assalamu alaikum, how are you?
Thank you for having me on the show. PTV has been really close to my heart since quite a while. I've grown up.
That's her hellos.
That's her hellos,
Hello,
yes.
Neha.
I've grown up watching PTV, and I think it's one of the topmost family-oriented channels in Pakistan today. It's a great honor to be here. You guys are looking lovely together. Way to go.
Thank you very much for being with us. And alongside Barrister Kiran, we have been joined by Shaunam Saifullah. Hello, Shaunam. How are you? Thank you very much for joining us. And alongside Shaunam, we have been joined by Sophia Rashid. Hello, Sophia. How are you? Fine. Well, that's just cool. And Sophia's mother, Hafsa Rashid. Hello, how are you? Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you very much for joining us. And last but not the least, Miss Mavish Gilani. Hello, Mavish. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Thank you very much for joining us. And I think me and Shabana are actually going to sit back and listen to what you guys actually have to talk about.
Thank you so very much for coming in and joining us on this show. It's such a pleasure. So I'll be starting with Kiran. So Kiran, tell me, you're a barrister, and how does it, feel to be a mom? I believe you have an older son also.
I do, yes.
So tell me how your experience being a mom.
It's really difficult to describe my experience and my feelings, but I will give it a try. I remember when I first got pregnant with my first son, Ayan, I thought, I won't be the conventional sort of mother. I'll be really easygoing. I'll be really chilled out. I wouldn't care if he's not eating or not sleeping, but boy, was I wrong. Only after like 1 hour of having a little human in my arms, I thought, I did not only change as a person, my entire being changed.
I know, it is like that.
Now
because when I had Shabano, so I was always the carefree sort. So after I had her, it was a complete shock that is this seriously mine? I have to, like shape her. I have to do so much for this little one. So how did you feel? Like, having one is fine, but after having two, there's like quite a job, isn't it?
Initially, I thought it would be quite a job, but because I have two together with such a short gap in between, it's really not that difficult as I initially thought, because I was exhausted anyways. I was keeping up at nights anyways with Dayan. So being up with her, it's not really that difficult. And my older son is really good with her.
Right.
And she's a really easygoing, chilled out baby.
I can see that she's quite easygoing, and she's not even crying. So she's a good child.
But I think moving on, I'll move on to you. And that is that, when you're about to become a mother, when you get the good news that, you're pregnant and you're carrying a child, what kind of expectations do you have with your own self that, okay, once I'll be a mother, this is what I'm going to do, or this is how I'm going to treat my daughter or son?
Well, when you find out that you're expecting, there's a whole, like they mentioned, there's a total change in the perspective, the way you've led your life previously. It does take a change, total. It does take a change, and the journey is quite
quite a turmoil.
Do you want to say it was a roller coaster ride, or it is still a roller coaster ride?
It's an amazing roller coaster ride. You don't know how you feel once you have a child. That is when things change and your perspective towards life changes. You have a huge responsibility to shape, like she said, that shape a person, and you have to help them grow.
Well, and I think it's unintentional too as well, because when you become a mother, it is inbuilt, it is natural, and it is all what lies within the nature too. So Mavish, moving on to you, now quite a lot of people say that you can actually face quite a lot of depression too and anxiety once you are a mother, because of the fact that you related how your mother treated you and then how you wanted to treat your kids as well. So was it different for you, or wasn't it any different?
Postpartum depression is very common, but here, because we have like a family who helps us. My mother was with me when I had my first daughter, so we were sharing a room for the first 6 weeks, and no, I didn't really feel depressed. But yes, when you look at your size, nothing fits, you don't look good,
that's the worst.
and then you're like, oh no. So, but in three months, I lost all my baby weight, and I was back on track. And the pressure that you're talking about is more basically on being on your best behavior.
Yes.
Yes, honey. Okay, you can come sit with me. This is
That's
this
a part
is my
of the show, ladies and gentlemen.
So
that's not a problem.
this is my daughter. Yes, she's 5 years old already. And we just had our younger sister a year ago. She's home. So yes, with two, it's a constant struggle.
What kind of a mother you always wanted to be?
Well, I didn't really think of what kind of a, but I know what kind of a mother I am. And I'm a really easygoing. I let her play, I let them get dirty. I let them explore. I'm the sort of mom whose daughter is on the mall, on the floor in the mall with people staring at me, but I want them to learn.
Wow.
Yes, that's what I
Yes.
do too. But I never thought that I'll be, but I'm not a very easygoing mom. So I'm quite strict with my daughter because I have to tell her her do's or
Not
don'ts.
just with your daughter though.
And with my husband, we
So
all,
aren't the
all
husbands the big babies? They're the big babies.
It's really difficult to plan how you're going to be with your child because you just become a totally different
Yes,
person.
because I
once you
thought I'll
have
be a
them.
very easygoing mom,
Yeah.
but then I became a very strict mom that you don't have to sit there, you don't have to go in the kitchen alone, you don't have to do that.
Is this your first?
This is my
The
first.
firstborns are always your project. I mean, I believe they have to be picture perfect, well behaved. You know, they are like little projects that has to be perfect. The second one are like, you know, survivors, and the third ones are total chill. You're like, they can do whatever. It happens. I've been through it. I have a 13-year-old, a 10-year-old, and then this one.
And it is indeed like
Yeah.
that. But at this point of time, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's about time that we ask Shabano. Shabano,
Shabano.
is your mom nice?
She's the best, Shabano.
Shabano.
Okay, now moving on. So, what I wanted to ask was that, you know, when you're pregnant, you're carrying a baby,
Yes.
there's this different feeling which you see that, you know, okay, for example, this is how my father treated me when I was growing up. This was how my mother treated me when I was growing up. And this is something which I wanted to do differently once my kids are going to be over here in the
Yes,
world.
that
you know,
also happens.
and they'll be living. So what were those differences which you wanted to
Bring about?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when, like you said, as we were children, our parents treated us differently, and that because they are our mentors. This
Yeah.
is how, you know, we look up to them. They are our universe.
Yeah.
We believe that the world is supposed to be dealt with in that exact way.
Exactly.
That is so. There are certain things that I did disagree with as children. You know how you look at your parents at certain angles, the kind of thinking that they had back then.
I hope you're not talking about taking a beating from your mom today, because I've taken quite a lot, ladies and gentlemen.
But you know, you start valuing your parents.
Yes, you
After-
do.
after you
My
become a
mom
parent,
after
then.
I
You
became
realize
pregnant.
later.
Yeah, I remember being pregnant when I found out I'm going to have a daughter, mashallah. Then I was crying because I was like, oh, when I got married, I asked my mom for a long trail wedding dress. I asked her for this, I asked her for that. And then you really start valuing your relationship with your mom. And that's when you need your mother the most.
Like
Yes.
they say
I
that when
remember-
you grow older, when you have your own children, you'll understand what we used to
Exactly.
say to you that
Exactly.
when my parents used to
I
say.
remember when I was growing up, my father always used to say, once you have your own children, then you will realize how it's actually like. I used to say, you know, you're old-fashioned, you're conservative. He was like, wait till your daughter gets 10 and 12, and then she tells you, Mom, you're not looking cool today. So, I'm gladly that time is not here yet, but fingers crossed.
So how is it like? How is it like? You know, once you have your child, you have your elder son too as well. So how do you feel now? So for all of those things which your father used to tell you,
Yes.
that let them grow up, how do you feel now?
Well, I grew up in a very conservative environment, so I thought I wouldn't bring my children up in that way. But you know what? Now that I am a mom,
Yeah,
I'm
that
thinking the way my parents brought me up, that was the right way.
Yes.
Alright.
And when I had to get married, I had all the liberty to decide who I wanted to get married to. So in the end, I thought, you know, my parents were not that conservative. So I will give my children the liberty to decide what they want to do with their lives.
So I think this is what we're going to talk about, ladies and gentlemen, when we're going to get back from this short commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back, and we'll ask Karen whether she's a conventional parent or not. Let's do it. Good morning.
参与的大型的就是汶川的救援、玉树的救援，国内近几年的大型的救援活动基本上都参与。我的梦想是蓝天救援队出现在国际救援的舞台上，体现我们大国的责任，体现出我们中国志愿者的一种责任。
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. For everybody who just got tuned into PT World, you watching World This Morning alongside Mariam Shahzad, Shabanu Shahzad, and Shahzad Khan. And ladies and gentlemen, today we've gathered mothers from different walks of life alongside their kids, and they're discussing motherhood too as well. But we're going to get back to Kiran because we were in conversation, we were asking her when actually her father told her that, okay, now when you're going to have kids and when they're going to grow up, your feelings are going to, or your thoughts are going to be changed, because she thought that, you know, her parents were conservative. Are you conservative about your kids?
You know, as much as I thought I'd be an easygoing parent, I do end up being quite conventional, I think. It's not easy to just let go of your children and let them do what they're doing. I am worried when my child is not eating or when not sleeping properly. I do try and follow a particular routine. Although I do try to. Yeah. I try to. The children have a mind of their own. And yes, I do think there are certain bits in me that are still conservative, but I do want to give them the freedom of just living their life, being the way they want to be, and just letting them
And she's agreeing to that too as well. I think that's what she's saying.
As you can see, she's a very easygoing baby, totally opposite my son, who was quite a tantrum thrower, I have to say, which is why I didn't bring him on the show.
But sons are very different from daughters.
I completely have to agree. Yes,
boys are.
Although I'd always heard that boys are much easier because they're much more fun-loving. So I was really excited when I was having a boy. But when I had her, I realized she's such an easygoing and chilled-out baby. I'm enjoying much more with her. In fact, when you have a daughter, your feelings are completely different from when you have a son.
Right.
You just feel my head, my heart, my entire being, it's just so full in love with her. Exactly.
Very cute.
So my parents sometimes think I'm doing favoritism and I'm neglecting my son, but it's just the reality is because she's so easy, and maybe because I'm now a second-time mom, I'm much more relaxed now. I know more as to how I have to bring her up, what to expect, what her routine will be, as opposed to when I was a first-time mom.
Okay, well, nice. Moving on. Well, I certainly do not know the head count of children. Because, you know, we are definitely talking about motherhood over here, you know, their kids over here. I do not know how many kids they left behind too. But are there any preferences? Okay, you know, the eldest, because as we say in our own house, that, okay, you know, mom, you love my eldest Api, or you love your younger son, but, you know, you do not love us because we're in the middle somewhere. So do you have any preferences too as well?
Preferences, I wouldn't, honestly, I can't say. Being a mother, when you become a mother, you realize it's an overwhelming feeling altogether.
Definitely.
And once you have children, you are fair to them. The way you deal with each child is different because each child brings a different side out.
Yeah.
You know, you're either strict with the other one knows how to push the right buttons and get certain things out. So there's a different way of showing affection to each one of them, but the love is not, you cannot say that you,
Let's see what she has to say about it.
Yes,
About having two, 3 kids and then deciding which is your favorite.
No, there is no favorite.
Okay.
Because, you know, a mother can love. I guess
equally, I think.
She can. And yes, but you have to make the right decision. Of course, you have to make the right. You have to be on your best behavior for the elder one.
All right.
And
all the time. It's constant.
Moving on, Mevish, you live in Tehran and Kiran lives in UK. So tell me, how is it that you live alone?
Yes.
And it's quite difficult because you don't have your family around and you don't have your relatives around. So how do you,
So it's not joint family system.
But
it's not.
But you still live alone. So you have to do everything on your own.
Yes.
You don't get maids or anything like that.
Yes.
So how do you cope up with that?
With my elder one goes to school and my little one, she started walking. She's 1. So it's like a constant battle with the housework. Where I'm cleaning and she's behind me. She's like opening closets, taking stuff out. So it's like constant battle with her.
I know.
But it's like a small little friend around, and it's. I often think if she wasn't there, I'd be so lonely.
I know.
And it's good company. We talk. I talk a lot with my children.
So how do you handle the pressures? You know, like sometimes you do feel really alone and you really need a timeout. But 2 kids, you do really need a timeout. That's the reality. With one, I need a timeout. I tell her, please, Shabana.
I think that's why
I put my kids to bed at 7.
Right.
At 7?
Yes. After that, that's my time.
So that means that they're up at 4 in the morning.
No, they're up at 6. So 12 hours sleep.
Wow.
Sleep is very important for children.
That is wonderful.
And you know, if they're not sleep deprived, if they're fed properly, that's when they learn. So I talk to my kids a lot.
So there was this video on YouTube where, you know, there was a mother who actually had quadruplets. and she went into the closet and she was having her candies and whatnot. So when you make your babies fall asleep at 7, what do you do after that?
Oh, there's a lot
Do
to
you miss
do.
them?
Then that's me and my husband's time. And then that's when we watch a movie. That's when we sit and have a tub of ice cream. That's when we talk. And after that, we unwind. So, and they need to...
Unwinding sessions. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you have to be very careful with that.
So the kids need rest too. After 7, it's just, they just get cranky and it's just tantrums and
Ma'am, what about you?
Yeah.
So,
Almost the same thing. My cutoff time is about 8. My older boys and the girl are in their rooms, in beds, reading their book and falling off to sleep.
Yeah.
Then it is my time
That is like
where I
peak of the
unwind.
time.
One needs to, you know, it's a total battle. The 24 hours, the battle that one goes through. We need to, you know, recuperate, calm down,
And
think of doing it a better. How will I do it better?
Take time out for yourself.
Yeah, you need time out.
Even if you're a mother, you shouldn't forget who you were and who you are.
and that's where I was coming.
Because it's important and very important thing that I keep, you know, I read somewhere and it makes a lot of sense. You give us good mothers, I'll give you a good nation.
Good nation, yes.
It's a very important part. A mother's role is very important. So, I mean, I laugh about it that, you know, once you become a mother, God gives you a chance to become a good, you know, humble, honest person, because whatever you preach, you need to practice that.
Exactly.
How can I preach something if I don't practice it? If I'm not going to be honest and humble, Hamari society has become very, you know, I'm sorry, but it's become trigger friendly.
Yes.
There is no tolerance. There is, I mean, the reason why being a mother, like you said earlier, how does it make you feel? It's very overwhelming.
Yes.
There's when I look the road rage that you see every day, it's so sad that, and these are our future. This is our hope.
So are there, do you think that there are times when you actually forget that, okay, you know, other than mother, I had a personality to my own self?
Identity crisis hote. I mean, yes, one goes through identity crisis.
I just cannot relate to the person that I was 4 years ago before I had my son.
Yeah.
Now when I think back to the kind of person I was, the personality I had then, I just do not recognize that person anymore.
Same,
Yeah.
same. Even I don't,
So I think all
wish
of
I
these
was that-
ladies over here are in love with motherhood too, ladies and gentlemen. It's not just their personality.
It
and it's a
doesn't
blessing
come,
in disguise.
sometimes it comes naturally. Sometimes you need to tell yourself, look, there's a responsibility.
Otherwise, somebody else will tell you that, you know, okay, you're a mother now.
The society we live in, they keep drilling it into your system. You're a mother, you need to conduct yourself in a certain way.
I think living in this society, there's a greater pressure on you just to be a good human being, a good example for your kids, health-wise, mentally, physically. You just have to be strong and fit for your kids. And it is really important to be that in order to upbring your kids properly.
Yeah, but I think that with all of that, I think you need to take care of your own self.
Exactly,
It's just, it's not that you have to let go of yourself. I've seen so many ladies, they just, you know, go after their kids and they've left themselves, they don't exercise, they've let their bodies go and everything. Just like
That also happens.
Yeah, but I think that's not the right approach.
No.
It's really important.
Most of the ladies who become moms are moms because of social pressures.
Yes.
So you need to really want to be a mom. Be a mom.
Okay, so how do you think that mothers talk to each other? For example, because all of you are friends too as well, you've known each other for a longer period of time. So when a mother talks to a mother, how do they talk? And when a friend talks to a friend, other than being a mother, when the kids are falling asleep and all of that is done, how do they talk then? What's the difference?
Every time I call a friend or I end up meeting a friend, we decide not to talk about our kids, but that is so difficult because I know after 5 minutes down the line, all we can talk about is, oh, did your kid eat properly? What time did your kid sleep?
Exactly.
So all we can talk about is our kids. As I said, that's our priority at the moment.
Okay, so Shabana all of a sudden thought that she can sing too as well. Shabana, which song are you going to sing now? All right, continue please.
So yes, it is definitely a pressure to be a great human being and set a good example for your parents. But it's really important at the same time, as Mariam said rightly, that you need to have a right balance. Especially if you're a working mother, there is a lot of pressure to deal with your kids properly, look after your house, and at the same time go into your work every day and just be very professional. So I think it's very important to achieve that balance. But at the same time, although your kids and work are your priority, you should not lose focus of your own self.
Exactly.
Looking after yourself, that is the foremost priority, because if your mentally and physically healthy, that's
You
the
will
only
be
way
able
you can
to.
survive, you can upbring your kids properly, and you can be very professional at work
Okay,
as well.
I'm sorry to bring it in, but obviously, you know, there are no questions about motherhood, ladies and gentlemen, over here in Pakistan. That's the type of culture we have, and elsewhere in the globe too. But how do you think fathers help mothers to raise their or nurture
how
their kids?
fathers should help.
Yeah.
Help. Well, should. No, that it's teamwork. It's not the woman's job only to bring up the children. If they work together, you can have a healthy environment. You can bring about a healthy environment in the house if the husband cooperates. The wives no longer, I feel, no longer require other things. They would like the husband to help out.
Exactly.
You know, if
Yeah.
he's looking after the child, feeding the child,
That's when you
reading to the
actually get
child,
happy,
it
yeah.
not only, you know, you develop a bond with the child, but it gives the wife a few minutes,
to relax,
you know, calm down. It, like I said, it's quite. I like the grin he has on his
But the father, in my case, the father doesn't have to feed or, you know.
Yeah.
But yes, my husband reads with my kids.
Yeah.
He gives them time, plays with
Okay,
them.
Shabana,
That's
let's
good
read.
enough.
What have you written? All right, let's do it. Shabana,
reading
this is
the
not
share
our
the
day
story.
today.
Reading is good enough.
Yeah, go on, go on. please.
Reading is good enough. Of course, it doesn't come naturally. To my husband, it doesn't come naturally to feed the kid or, you know, it doesn't. But yes, reading, playing, interacting with them, that's good enough. That's his part.
Because I think fathers, you know, his role is really important in bringing up a child. Also, it's the mother's duty to, you know, shape him and everything. But they always look up to their father as a role model,
Yeah.
not their mothers. Because even if I do something to her, I'll do everything for her. But I won't be her favorite. He'll forever be her.
And the
favorite.
fathers give mothers the confidence that, you know,
Yeah.
you're doing well, you're doing great. And the mother feels good if the father is, you
But
know,
fathers
like,
at times they forget to, you know, compliment, they forget to tell you because they're busy and whatnot, and all of these things go on with life, all right?
Don't you see what happens in the house when you forget?
But what do you assume? You know, I'm here with my wife and my daughter, so I certainly know about that. So over here, I think the point I need to make over here is that people out there need to understand that it's a collective effort.
Yes.
And this is something which we miss out on culturally. So how do you think that we need to educate people culturally?
And the question should extend as in, I think it's a stigma, or the society does not like the man working or, you know, helping out wife. I don't think they don't like it. But Shahzad has
Because
been
they
really
pay
helpful.
for your servants,
I
yeah?
think times are
No, as
changing.
in not helping, as in I don't want the father to be changing diapers or some point.
Yeah.
But Shahzad has been really helpful in, you know, like
There are so
morally.
many other things
Yes.
that you can help
Wow,
with.
man.
This
This
show
last,
is about
I'd
you
like to add over here.
Sure.
Your channel reaches out to rural areas. I mean, cable TV is not available everywhere.
Yeah.
The program that you're doing, by talking like this, you are reaching out to the young generation, telling them that it's okay, it's healthy to help out your wife, to be a friend. It doesn't matter. I mean, there is a change that is happening, that is coming about in our society, where the boys and girls are understanding that it's a team effort. And you know, nothing works. You cannot do anything solo anymore.
Right.
Everywhere where you go, you need to be a team in
Okay,
order
but
to.
you know, there was a time, for example, a decade ago, where women did not actually had a choice to be a mother or not to be a mother, right?
True.
But now, you know, as we progress and as we evolve, we see that, you know, they have a choice, they have a say that, okay, not now, maybe later, or I'm not ready to be a mother. You know, we are coming on those terms where we used to see those series, Gora people used to tell, oh, you know, I'm not ready to be a mother, we'll talk it out and we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
So how is it to be a mother in a very surprising way that, okay, you know, nobody asked me, but I'm still going to be a mother? Do you get time to be prepared, or do you prepare while you're pregnant? And then how do you do it? How do you cope up with that? Because it's quite a lot of peer pressure.
Yeah,
I
there
can't
is.
really
I mean,
relate to that because I can't relate to that because yes, we planned and it was, you know.
I can actually relate to that because when I first decided to get pregnant, it was purely because my mom thought, you know, it's been 3 years, you've been married, it's about time you have a child. Because if you don't have it within the first 5 years, then there will be problems, not only within the marriage, but, you know, physical problems. So then I decided, okay, fine, I'll have a child. But you know what? As soon as I was holding the baby in my hand, that was all I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about my social life, my work life, and all I wanted to do was properly just look after the child and give her and him my entire everything that I have, everything in my head. I just wanted to upbring that child properly.
So imagine that, you know, it wasn't your choice in the first place,
Yeah.
but then you realized
Yeah.
after a long time.
And then when I had my first child, I thought, okay, that's it. I've listened to my mom now. Time for a break now. But then I just loved being a mom. And then quickly, the second one followed. And yeah, this time I have to say, I really did want to become a mom again. And this time I was totally prepared. Although it's difficult to say, you can never be prepared. I just try and go with the flow. They have been lucky enough that their kids sleep on time. I don't have that luxury, unfortunately.
Nobody does.
She's too
The
young.
thing is,
Yeah.
yes, but then
you have to
again,
follow
even
routine.
my kid does not sleep at
Yeah.
8. We go in bed at 8,
Yeah.
but she sleeps at 9:30,
Exactly,
whatever, because
yeah.
it takes time for her, because she wants to talk and she wants to tell her gossip, her side of the story.
So this is where the father role comes in, because we don't sleep until 11 at night when both the kids sleep, and after that all I want to do is go to sleep myself.
Yeah.
So on Saturdays, then my husband, he says, okay, today's your day, go do your thing, I look after the kids, and that's how he's supporting me.
That is so
Yeah,
sweet.
and that's when I don't care about him complimenting me. All I want is my time out, and I come home and I'm so
It
glad.
works
Okay,
differently
so
for
when-
everyone.
Yes,
Yeah,
Exactly.
so when you go
Yeah.
for your timeout, is it like, you know, because you're a mother and this is how mother's nature is, do you like call him after every 30 minutes and ask, oh,
Absolutely,
you know, what is she doing, what is he doing? So then what's the point of timeout? You know, just stay back at
what?
home.
I
Why are you
thought-
wasting money on cell phone?
Before I became a mom, I thought, you know, I'll leave my kids with my parents or my husband, and then I'll just chill out. But that just does not happen.
It doesn't
That cannot
happen.
happen.
That just
It
does not
can't.
happen.
No, it happens in my case. I leave my kids very often, and I go out and I know they're in safe hands because I don't let my kids with anyone else but the grandparents.
Yeah.
And it's fun. It's your time, and you should really you come first, because not only are you a mother, you're a wife.
Yes,
you're a
you're a
daughter.
daughter, yes.
And
You're
you're a person,
yourself.
and
You're a
you
person.
remember that, you
And
know?
Yes.
people still say to me, "Oh, you haven't changed." And I'm like, "Why would I change? Why would I change? Because I had kids. Why?
Exactly,
What
yeah.
changed?" So no, you don't have to change if you become a mom.
Okay, but I
Right.
think on this platform, we need to talk about this thing, and it is very essential and important too. For example, we have seen this Zainab case as well,
Yes.
where, you know, daughters have been taken away from people and they've been raped and whatnot, God forbid. It is very unfortunate. How important do you think it is for mothers to talk about all of those taboo subjects which we do not share with our kids, and not just daughters, sons, and how important it is for fathers to educate their children that, okay, you know,
very-
stranger alert.
How
and
do
all
you,
these things.
how do
We
you
have
tell them
already
the
started
do's
talking.
and don'ts?
Yeah. So we've already started talking about it. My daughter was 3 or 4 when we started talking about what's your private time, what are your private parts. No one else is allowed to touch or see, not even me. So we talk about it a lot. And yes, strangers, we do not go with strangers. We do not talk to strangers. There's a strangers song that we sing.
We're going to sing it later.
Yes, we will. We will. So
Very
we
nice.
need to educate our children.
How do you do it?
Well, like she said, my oldest son is 13. So when he was 3, the firstborn, I was very paranoid. When the little background here is, I had my children after 4. The first one was after 4 years of my marriage.
Right.
I was a career-oriented woman. Once the minute I conceived and I realized that I was, you know, going to have a baby, something changed inside of me. Everything came to a halt for me. I thought, okay, you know what? I need to change the way I live to give my child a better life. Our society, where we live, I mean, there's
Yeah,
like,
we're listening to you. It's all right.
Yeah.
Come on, yeah. Everything's
the
cool.
baby's just-
Are you fine? Perfectly all right.
we want you don't.
Mariam, why don't you give it a try? Let's see whether you can still handle toddlers or not.
Yes, please.
Watch it. Yeah, continue, please.
So I like you were asking. She said earlier. We can't talk like this. You know,
Just keep on
mothers.
talking.
It's adorable
You've got a
how
nice
all the
background
mothers
music going on.
mothers tend to look at the baby. That's what we all do, right? Once a baby's in the house, everyone wants to focus on the child, and you know we tend to.
Perfectly all right. Carry on. That's not a
No,
problem.
like it's important to educate your child about their about the good touch and the bad touch.
Yeah.
And if they feel, because God also, you have a sixth sense. A child can tell. A child also can tell if they felt uncomfortable around someone, and they need to voice that more often. It's all right.
All right, but ladies and gentlemen, since we're only left with 2-3 minutes and the show is going so amazing, so we're not going to go for a break. But anything which you guys want to share with all of those people who are out there about motherhood, about, you know, the newer generations who are actually coming up and they think that, you know, being a mother might be a difficult challenge for them too.
Yes.
How do you think that you're going to tell them that motherhood is amazing? Let's start with you.
Since we shape the future of our country, we need enlightened mothers, educated mothers. We need women who can really, you know, it's not just about raising a daughter right, raise your sons right as well.
Raise your sons
you know,
right. It's very important.
In Urdu we say tarbiyat. It's very important for both of them. So I think women, mothers are the ones who shape the future of our country.
Right.
And
Like
they
Ida
need to be
said.
looked after too. We need to look after the mothers so that they can generate more positivity around.
That's my message to all the mothers out there. Yes, your kids are your priority, the work is your priority, but first look at your own self. If you're physically and mentally strong, that's the only way you can bring your children up properly and you can bring them up to be strong and healthy.
How do you think remarks like these, for example, see, Mariam, you do not know how to handle a child, affects a mother?
No,
how do you think it affects a mother?
No, there is no hard and fast rule. Every mother does a great job.
And no judging. No judging.
No judging.
The future generation needs to know that. You cannot judge any mother.
You cannot be a perfection.
To each is their own. Everyone has.
It's about time that we wrap up the show too. She's very angry. Okay, we're going to do that.
Sure.
It's perfectly all right.
Thank you.
But thank you very much for being over here. And thank you very much for being such amazing mothers. Thank you very much.
Oh, you look lovely,
We
mashallah.
three.
You three.
All three of us.
Yes.
Shabana say thank you.
Thank you, Shaban.
Thank you very much for being with us. It was lovely to have you. And we'll definitely give fathers a chance too.
Yes.
But for all those people who are out there, you can write to us on our Facebook fan page, which is with the name of,
World This Morning.
on Twitter,
World This Morning without a G.
on Daily Motion and YouTube.
World This Morning.
And the fabulous repeat's going to be at?
11:05 p.m.
Till the next time, ladies and gentlemen, 1, 2, 3, good
Good
morning.